Welcome to Pretty Lies and Alibis. Let's seek the truth and travel the long road to justice together. What you know, Alibiers, welcome to another episode of Pretty Lies and Alibis. I'm Gigi. Good to have you here. It's Monday, September 23rd. We're going to talk about the jail where Diddy is currently being held and what it's like being an inmate inside, including what's available to him in commissary. You guys always love hearing about that stuff. We're going to jump in, but first, if you're watching on YouTube, you know the drill. Don't forget to hit subscribe if you haven't already. Like the video, share it with your friends, and ring that bell if you want notifications of when I upload new content. Music fact of the day. Sylvester Stallone initially wanted to use the song Another One Bites the Dust by Queen as the intro to Rocky III. But he was unable to acquire the rights for the song, so he called up Survivor, who ended up and wrote Eye of the Tiger, which went on to become a huge hit for the band. They also wrote In the Burning Heart, which was used in Rocky IV. If you're wondering why I'm not on camera today, it's because, I'm going to be honest, I need a haircut and a color, and I did not even feel like messing with this mop on top. So tomorrow, I'll be back on camera once I get straightened out up there. Want to give a heads up to anybody in the Big Bend of Florida. Please keep an eye out for this major storm that's headed your way. Looks like it's going to be very nasty. And I know I have a lot of listeners down in that area, including the Tallahassee area where Donna Adelson is currently being held. Before we jump into this episode, I just want to give out a resource to anybody who's ever been a victim of sexual assault. You can call 1-800-656-HOPE. That's 1-800-656-4673, where you can speak to trained staff members who offer support as well as local resources available to you. There is help. Please reach out. So jumping in to where Diddy is being held, the notorious MDC Brooklyn, not a pleasant place. In fact, in 2019, the former warden Cameron Lindsay said that MDC was one of the most troubled, if not the most troubled facility in the Bureau of Prisons. Where is MDC Brooklyn? Well, it's nestled right in between boutique hotels and stores I would never be able to afford to shop in. It's a co-ed facility, and it houses, as far as I can see currently, around 1,218 inmates. Famous alumni of the facility include Ghislaine Maxwell, that's Epstein's right-hand lady. Also, R. Kelly spent his time there before trial. R. Kelly's attorney, Nicole Becker, told Hollywood Life that the time R. Kelly spent in the facility was mentally crippling and one of the worst experiences she's ever heard of. She goes on to say if Diddy is going to experience anything like what R. Kelly went through, it's not going to be good. She says the jail is not at all safe, and they were concerned daily about whether or not R. Kelly was alive. She said it's inhumane and a whole other world. She said, I mean, grown men cry. We know Diddy is in isolation, or what is commonly referred to as the SHU. Well, what does it mean to be in the SHU? You're kept away from everybody else. You are by yourself in a cell 23 hours a day. He would be constantly supervised. There would be very limited phone access for him. It's also much harder for his family to go visit him there due to the fact he's in protective custody, and they don't give extra time for the added security measures that would be in place due to his status. So visits from people other than his attorney are going to be slim to none. Manhattan's Metropolitan Correctional Center closed in 2021, leaving MDC Brooklyn as the only federal detention facility in New York City. The closed facility, you may remember, is where Epstein was being held before he died. Now, this facility that Diddy is at is mainly used for federal inmates who are awaiting trial. Well, right now, his attorney is expected to appeal this and asking that Diddy be moved to a facility in New Jersey. There's no indication that he was placed on self-harm watch based on anything he said or did. And in fact, Cameron Lindsay, the retired warden from the facility, told TMZ Diddy's celebrity status and the allegations of violence against women make him a very attractive target for assault. In the subculture of jails and prisons, delivering a hit on someone like Diddy would be considered a badge of honor. One attorney told Business Insider to go from living in mansions in Beverly Hills and Miami to the MDC is as epic a change in circumstances as anyone could have. All the money won't make it warmer when it's cold, colder when it's hot. It won't make the food more edible, and it won't make the cockroaches stay away. Diddy will be treated like any other inmate and will not be getting any perks for being famous. Now, in the filing for bond that was denied, as we know, Diddy's attorney wrote just earlier this summer an inmate was murdered. At least 4 inmates have died by self harm there in the past 3 years. Now, just to note, one of these murders happened in July of this year. An inmate was stabbed 44 times. A month later, another inmate died due to a fight in the facility. One inmate told New York One a while back, "This is my first time in jail, but these knives are 9 inches long, sometimes homemade with materials from the steel walls. It's very violent. They're stabbings, at least a couple of times a week." Now, New York One obtained video from inside the facility showing cockroaches in the food, moldy showers, and broken lights. Judge Jesse Furman of the Southern District of New York expressed concerns about the constant lockdowns, the delays in medical care, widespread contraband, and 4 inmate self harm deaths in the past 3 years. He wrote, "It's gotten to the point that it is routine for judges in both this district and the Eastern District to give reduced sentences to defendants based on the conditions of confinement in the MDC. Prosecutors no longer even put up a fight, let alone dispute that the state of affairs is unacceptable. In fact, the conditions are so bad that judges have given prisoners good time served credit if they're serving at MDC. Just for example, 1 day served may count as 2 towards the inmate's sentence." Now, inmates who have been in isolation at MDC say that there is screaming, there's pounding on the walls by other inmates. They've seen bodily waste and fluids thrown at people, or they spread it in their cells. Diddy's status could see him getting harassed verbally by other inmates who may be housed in that same area. What's his new cell like? It's not anything to write home about. He might not even be able to write home because a pencil is sharp, and being on self harm watch, it affects what you can and cannot have in your cell. His cell, bunk beds, and a very thin mattress. There is a toilet, a sink, and then a small seating area that is made of metal. The facility has a medical unit with examination rooms as well as a dental suite. And then there is a separate wing for educational programs and the jail's library. Diddy most likely will not be able to visit any of these other rooms inside the jail. Inmates call this place hell on earth. I would venture a guess that he will likely remain in isolation until trial just due to his notoriety. It's the only federal jail in the city, as we talked about, is said to be overcrowded, neglected, and understaffed. Lockdowns are common, which affects time Diddy could see for recreation time outside of his cell, time for phone calls, as well as showers. Inmates have complained of the terrible violence, the limited staffing, and the drug and contraband smuggling being a big problem inside. Former inmate Michael Cohen told CNN Diddy's waking up on a steel bed with a 1.5-inch mattress, no pillow, in an 8 by 10-foot cell that I can assure you is disgusting. The former warden also told TMZ that Diddy will get woken up around 6 a.m. every day. At that point, he will have to clean his cell, make his bed, and also he'll be required to mop in there every day. If he's lucky and they're not on lockdown, Diddy will have 1 hour of rec time each day and may be able to shower 3 days a week in optimal staffing conditions. It's not a guarantee. If he's able to get in rec time, that takes place on the roof of the facility, which is enclosed by a fence on all sides as well as overhead. So essentially a cage. Inmates have also complained of rats being in the facility, issues with their cells smelling like raw sewage, and also cockroaches running around. Ghislaine Maxwell said she was constantly woken up for checks with a bright flashlight and was suffering from sleep deprivation. Well, what does solitary do to you as a person? This is something I've researched very deeply. I have a connection in prison. If you are an older listener, you know I did the jail to prison series based on somebody who had never been incarcerated in her life. And we've talked about her experience in solitary, and other inmates kind of give the same opinion that it's just maddening. And some end up with hallucinations, hearing voices. A lot of inmates complain there's disorientation as to the time of day, and that messes up your internal clock. Showers have a preset timer for water pressure and temperature. Let's talk about the food that Diddy is going to get while he's in jail. I have it up on the screen here. It may be a little small to read, but we're going to talk about a standard menu. This menu was found online for the 2024 year, and we're going to go through that. He'll get 3 meals a day in his cell. Now, the food is kept in a warming box until it's delivered, which can take hours. Can you imagine the condensation on this food? You're going to be eating some soggy burgers. He will receive 1,800 calories a day. Just to note, you don't get to go anywhere else to eat, so you're eating literally within arm's reach of your toilet. Inmates in isolation are restricted even in the food they get from the jail. For example, nothing is sent on the bone due to the fact that that could be sharpened and used as a shank or a self-harm device. According to the menu, the first meal Diddy would have received was Swedish meatballs or the vegetarian option of a black bean burger. Sides included egg noodles, green beans, a salad and dressing, and a drink. Let's look at today, and let's just kind of go through a rough version of the weekly meals served for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast usually served around 6 a.m., and it consists of fruit, cereal, breakfast cake, coffee, sugar substitute, and skim milk. A rotating menu shows scrambled eggs or peanut butter, oven brown potatoes, 2 biscuits with jelly, and cream gravy. It doesn't look to me like there were many other options other than these 2 for breakfast. Lunch is usually served around 11 a.m. For example, today on the menu, Southwest chicken wrap or chicken and vegetables. For the vegetarian option, Southwest tofu wraps, coleslaw, and pinto beans. Dinner usually served about 4 p.m. Today's option would be Salisbury steak, black-eyed peas, mashed potatoes and brown gravy, green beans, whole wheat bread with margarine, and a drink. Other variations for lunch for the week are barbecue chicken sandwiches or chickpea burgers, steamed rice, pinto beans, hamburgers with lettuce, tomato, and a bun, baked tater tots, baked fish with tartar sauce, and beef tacos, or the vegetarian chickpea tacos with black beans, corn that comes with 2 taco shells, cheese, and salsa. For dinner this week, Diddy can expect some turkey roast or navy beans, baked sweet potato, mixed vegetables, pasta with marinara sauces, chef or tofu, chef salads, and cold beets. Diddy will have access to Commissary, although there will be a limit on how much of each item he can buy. And there's also a maximum amount of money an inmate can spend per week. I haven't been able to nail down an exact number. It could go as high as $300, could be as low as $60. I'm sure whatever that amount is, he'll be taken care of between family and friends. But he need not expect any packages from family and friends because it's not allowed. The only thing he could receive from the outside are books that come directly from the publisher. Now, from family, he would be able to get release clothing, which we all know that ain't happening, and any authorized medical devices. So let's look through some of the commissary items that Diddy has. And I've said this before when I've done episodes dealing with commissary. What I've heard from inmates is basically this is like food you would find at the Dollar Tree, just nasty, high sodium, high fat, and cheap. So he could get a 6-pack of water for $4.50. He can get a maximum of 3 decaf coffees and herbal teas. Those he can only get 2 of. Both are $3.55 a piece. If he wants some Colombian coffee, it's going to set him back $3.45. He can get 3 of those. There are various drink mixes for under $2, but if he wants to upgrade to some peach tea mix, that's going to set him back $2.75, and he can get 2 of those. A bag of jalapeno wheels, $3.20. You can only get 1 bag. Velveeta cheese block, he can get 2 of those at $3.70 each. He can get 1 container of Nutella for $4.90. He can get 5 tuna and Thai chili sauce for $3.50. White tuna pouches, they let you splurge. You can get 10 of those for $3.45 a piece. 2 barbecue sauces for $2.85. 2 containers that have peanut butter and jelly for $3.65 each. White chicken in a pouch, you can get 5 of those at $3.85 a piece. Spam in a pouch, 5 of those, $1.50 a piece. Hot chili with beans in a pouch, $1.95. Limit 5 on those. Turkey and Swiss sticks, 5 of those for $1.40 a piece. A box of Cheez-Its for $3.65. Berry Crunch cereal, going to set him back $2.82. For sweets, he can get some oatmeal cream pies, a limit of 1 for $2.25. Crunch and Munch, he can get 2 of those at $1.95. Chocolate covered pretzels, limited to 1 for $2.15. Cashews on the menu, $4.55, a limit of 2. 6-pack of Hershey bars, he can get 2 of those at $7.25. 6-pack of Snickers, a little bit more of a bargain. 2 of those cost you $5.95. The biggest bargain on the menu for food is shrimp soup, 40 cents per pack. Mackerel fillets in a pouch, 24 of those for $1. Pre-cooked rice, going to set Diddy back $1.30. You can get 10 of those. Instant grits, 2 packs for $3.80. Ribeye steak meal for $9.95. His status is going to limit what he can get as far as luxuries as well. For example, he may not be able to get headphones if they have wires. Also, he may not be able to get certain items of clothing. Radio with headphones, $15.60. He can get some dad New Balance kicks, the ones that our dads wear when they're cooking out in the summer, for $54.60. Or Under Armour shoes, $59.80. The Casio digital watch for $40.30. An MP3 player, gonna set Diddy back $88.40. If he needs a reading light, $10.70. If he wants some shower clogs to wear for when he goes to take a shower, $7.15. All kinds of soap options between $3 and $4. If they haven't limited what he can wear, he could buy sweatshirts and sweatpants at $16.15 each. A 3-pack of boxers is going to cost him $3.85, and a pack of socks, $9.75. He can get a bath towel and washcloth set for $12.35. St. Ives body wash, $3.85. Believe he can get 24 of those at $6.25. If he wants to save some leftovers or start making his own food, he's going to need a plastic bowl with a lid at $5.40. A mirror, $2.60. Phase 10 card game, $7.95, except Diddy has nobody to play with because he's in solitary. If all that food makes his tummy upset, he can get some Pepto tablets for $5.80. Foot powder, because athletes' feet is a big problem in jails and prisons, $6.25. If Diddy is clinging to Jesus while he's in the pokey, he can get some rosary beads for $1.50. Arabian sandalwood prayer oil, $3.25. So that's kind of it. I just did a little research into what's available to Diddy there at the facility and what he can expect as far as his living conditions. I'm very curious to see next month if he waives his right to a speedy trial, or his lawyer sort of hinted, maybe go for the speedy trial to limit the amount of time he thinks Diddy will spend incarcerated. I don't think we've seen the last of the charges for Diddy, not even close. This indictment, I think, was enough to solidify his arrest and for him being held without bond. They have said it is still an open case. And wouldn't you love to see the subpoena list of everybody who's been sent subpoenas? The one thing that I do want to point out too, I've seen everybody posting pictures. Oh, this person is in a photo with Diddy. This person went to a white party at Diddy's one year or went every year. So therefore, they must be guilty. It's possible to be friends with somebody or know somebody who is a predator and you have no clue. I do think we may hear some famous names come out over the course of this investigation, but just a reminder, not every single person that's ever had a photo taken with Diddy or knew him knew what he was capable of and what allegedly was going on behind closed doors. Before we end it, I just want to put this number back out there, 1-800-656-HOPE. That's 1-800-656-4673 to speak with trained staff. If you are a victim of sexual assault, they can offer support as well as local resources available to you. All right, that's it for today. I hope you guys have a good rest of your afternoon. We will see you tomorrow with a new episode, probably on something entirely different than Diddy, unless something breaks. But in the meantime, hope you guys have a good rest of your evening. We will see you soon.